Hello, my name is Allie Kvasnicka, and I'm a senior here at Meredith College. Working under the advisory of Dr. Cynthia Edwards, I studied the correlates and predictors of college student retention using belongingness, loneliness, resilience, parental education, and intention to return. Much of the previous literature surrounding student retention focuses on factors of student adjustment and satisfaction. In 1991, Mooney, Sherman, and Presto identified feelings of academic control, perceived distance from home, and self-esteem as factors that influence student adjustment. In 2007, Agliotta and Rank found that discrepancies in parent and student expectations lead to poor student adjustment. In 2002, Hertel found that first-generation students report significantly poorer social adjustment, while on-campus friend support predicted overall adjustment more accurately for second-generation students. In 2007, Hilts, Part, and Bernacki found that perceived social support, competence, and relatedness were accurate predictors of female STEM student retention. Finally, in 2004, Bovier, Chamot, and Perneger found that larger implications for student mental health outcomes have been linked to stress, resources, and social support. This type of research is valuable as college administrators are constantly aiming to improve student retention. However, there are a variety of factors that contribute to a student's decision to remain at a college. First-year student retention is a standard metric to evaluate higher education institutions. Generally, high student retention speaks to the quality and likability of an institution. The purpose of the present study aimed to predict student retention and intent to remain at a college based on belongingness, loneliness, resilience, and highest level of parental education. It was hypothesized that participants with higher belongingness and resilience scores, lower loneliness scores, and parents with more education would be more likely to intend to return to Meredith College and actually return to Meredith College. Data from 169 female first-year undergraduate students from Meredith College were analyzed. Data were collected through the first-year Student Success Survey, which contains a multitude of scales and demographic questions that measure students' transition and preliminary experiences in their first semester of college. The survey was emailed to all first-year students from the Office of Student Retention and Success in the fall of 2018. Retention data were collected in the following year through the Office of Student Retention and Success. The first-year Student Success Survey contained many scales, but 4 were primarily used for the present study, along with demographic information. Resilience, or the ability to bounce back after facing stress, was measured using the Brief Resilience Scale by Smith et al. The Brief Resilience Scale is a 6-item test measured on a 5-point scale. Belongingness was measured using a 6-item belongingness scale created by Asher and Weeks, which rates belongingness on a 5-point scale and defines the construct as the feelings of connectedness and the perception that one is an integral part of a community. Similarly, loneliness was also measured using a scale from Asher and Weeks, where loneliness is measured on a 5-point scale that is defined as the discrepancy between desired and perceived levels of social connectedness. Participants' intent to return to the college in the following year was collected on a separate 4-point scale, where responses included do not plan to return, unlikely to return, likely to return, and plan to return. Highest parental level of education was obtained by asking students what the highest level of education each parent completed, ranging from did not finish high school or GED, some college, 4-year college degree, and graduate or professional training. These data were coded numerically, and parent scores were compared for each participant to determine the highest level of education. Retention data was coded as a binary categorical variable. Students either returned to Meredith College in the following year or they did not. SPSS was used to analyze these data, and Microsoft Excel and RStudio were used to generate figures and tables. A variety of analyses were used to analyze these data. Pearson correlations were conducted to identify underlying relationships between predictor variables. An independent samples t-test was analyzed to identify differences between predictor variables and student retention. A binomial logistic regression was run to determine if loneliness, belongingness, resilience, highest parental level of education, and intention to return to Meredith College predicted student retention. A multiple linear regression was run to determine if loneliness, belongingness, resilience, and highest parental level of education could predict students' intent to return to Meredith College in the following year. Pearson correlational analyses indicated significant correlations, as indicated by darker colors and are emphasized with circles. Analyses indicated significant correlations between belongingness and intent to return, highest parental level of education, and resilience. Additionally, loneliness was significantly negatively correlated with belongingness, intent to return, and resilience. An independent samples t-test revealed a significant relationship between student retention and both intent to return scores and loneliness scores. Higher intent to return and lower loneliness were associated with students remaining at Meredith College. A binomial logistic regression produced a significant one-factor model. The model explained 10.1% of the variance in retention and correctly classified 84.9% of students. For each increase in the 4-point intent to return scale, a student has an increasing 2.9 likelihood of returning to Meredith College. A three-factor multiple linear regression significantly identified belongingness, loneliness, and resilience to predict students' intention to return for the following academic years and produced the model above. Students with higher belongingness scores and lower resilience and loneliness scores are significantly more likely to intend to return to Meredith College. Overall, analyses indicated that only the intent to return predictor was significant in predicting student retention. However, belongingness, loneliness, and resilience were found to be significant in predicting students' intention to return. Students with higher belongingness scores and lower resilience and loneliness scores are significantly more likely to intend to return to Meredith College. Students that indicated a higher intent to return to Meredith College are significantly more likely to actually return to Meredith College in the following year. These data partially support previous studies relating the value of social support in academic adjustment and student retention, including the studies from Hilts, and Bernacki, and Bovier, Chamot, and Perneger. Additionally, these data partially support the finding from Hertel that students whose parents have less education integrate into college differently based on the correlational results that were found. Relative to the size of the first-year student population at Meredith College, only a portion of students were analyzed in this study. Data could only be analyzed from first-year students who completed the survey and had retention data available, meaning some students were not included in this study. Regarding the negative loading of resilience, it is hypothesized that students who experience more adverse events are more resilient. However, these experiences may have influenced a student's desire to not return to Meredith College, while students who do not experience as many adverse events may be less resilient, but are more likely to remain at Meredith College in the next year. In regards to the current resilience campaign, applications of resilience can be contextualized in a way that is relevant to the utilization of resilience at Meredith College and post-graduation, rather than speaking about resilience in general. Additionally, intent to return may have been the only factor to predict student retention, because the first-year students' social relationships in their first semester may have changed by the time they consider returning to Meredith College in their second semester. Future studies can explore mixed methodologies to examine alternative factors that play into student retention. Additionally, surveys can be sent out later in the semester, or more than one survey can be sent out during the first and second semester. At this time, I would like to thank Dr. Edwards, my faculty research advisor, Brandon Stokes, the Director of Retention and Student Success, my fellow lab members of the Meredith Emerging Adulthood Longitudinal Studies Lab, the Meredith College Department of Psychology and Social Work, and the Meredith College Undergraduate Research Program for their support. I would also like to thank the CSA event coordinators for their flexibility in hosting the event during this unique time. If you have further questions or comments regarding my research, feel free to email me at the email listed. Thank you.